Yo, what's up guys, how's everyone doing? I hope you're all having a fantastic day. Please let me know if the audio and video is okay today, guys. I'm using a completely different setup. Everything is new equipment today, so I haven't had a chance to fine-tune it as a result of that. So this may be a little bit shaky. I certainly hope it's not. Are we even live? It looks like we're not live. Are we not? Okay, we are. Please let me know if everything is okay. Let's test myself real quick. Okay, all okay? Vid and sound are good. Okay, thank you very much. Let's get right into it. Okay, well, okay, so last stream, let's just recap what I was talking about. Let's recap our entire zone right now. This is very important to go over. I had a box drawn over here for a good while, and what this box showed us was about 5 days of consolidation when we pumped up above the 6,800 line. And of course, as you guys will remember, I did give a long signal in VIP at 6,500 around about here, a second signal around about here, and then we did write it up and get a 2-3 times gain. I did tell you guys in stream that we are going to be seeing a breakout like this, and then we did see 5 days of consolidation. This was a very weird 5 days of consolidation. I was very bullish during this range, but because it went on for so long, it did raise some alarms in my mind, and I did end up closing my longs, and unfortunately we didn't get to write it up $200, but we did from 77 up to 84 and all that. And with this consolidation range, we had a bottom. We started bottoming out at about 7,200, a little bit higher than that, and that was our bottom of our range. And if we look at where the candles actually closed, most of the range bottomed out at about 7,280, and the top of our range was also around 7,500, going up as high as 7,700 on one test. But really, this is how our range looked, and right now what we're doing is we're actually trading within the same range that we were in last time. So if I do actually extend this rectangle now and allow you guys to see just how how well we fit into this trend right now, it looks like an incredibly predictable pattern. Now what I said in the last stream is that we do have a lot of bullish volume dominating over the red volume, and we did see only one exception to that, which did sort of debunk that entire trend, and this was this one sort of relatively large sell candle, which you guys can see me circling right now with my mouse. And what this did mean is that we ended up dumping. We ended up going from levels of about 7,500, which was our previous resistance level. It did turn into support, but unfortunately it did not hold, and we did see our red volume actually dominating and taking us below those levels. Everything okay? I just wanted to make sure everything's still fine. Great. And so we did end up dumping. We had our old support now turning into resistance. As you can see, we did end up testing 7,500. And so what we're doing right now, guys, very, very clearly, is we're actually just trading within the same range that we were in about 2 weeks ago. So we haven't really been set back very far. I mean, if we look at again from where we really did bottom out, I just want to do this to put this into perspective for people who maybe are starting to get a little bit upset with the market, and understandably so. We are still up 27% from our high, and that's pretty, that's okay. I mean, that's about 30 days of movement at 27% gain. Can't complain with that. I mean, it should have probably been better, but we'll take 27% in terms of raw Bitcoin movement. Now, what we are potentially looking at is, even though we did see green volume dominating here, this did tell us something very, very interesting, guys. Last stream, I was notably bullish, and the reason I was because within this consolidation, this continuation pattern, the bulls were showing more strength than the bears, and the bears were showing signs of weakness. I did talk about this one sell volume candle here, which is when we got rejected off 7,700, which was our old support turning into resistance. And so because of that, the bears showed a lot of weakness, but and that the reason for that was when we got rejected from that, we didn't get rejected with volume, and so that was something concerning. I mean, we're seeing similar things today with some of these red candles, the one over here, our other red candle we had today on the 4-hour chart again, showing us good volume, but the buys are still about as strong. Now, if we do look at coin market cap, they have been throwing us some very weird figures throughout the entire day. These are some very big problems with coin market cap that I really do think they need to resolve very quickly. People have thrown alternatives around to me, but I've always brushed them off, saying nope, I'm going to stick with CMC. But in this case, case, they are demonstrating extreme unreliability, and I'm just not willing to support a website like this if they're going to continuously fail on us. It's the same case with OKX. Any backlash they receive, they wholly deserve it, and the same thing goes for the guys at CMC because they failed us many times in the recent week. But nonetheless, we are looking at a volume of about $13.4 billion. This is right about where we were yesterday, potentially a little bit higher, but really not a big difference. Bitcoin dominance dropping a little bit. We did see some funds spread out into Alt Ethereum Classic getting a nice little pump, of course, most likely in the run-up to the Coinbase listing, as we all know. Really, it's been a sideways day for the market. I mean, a lot of these alts just making back these huge losses. I mean, guys, we looked at the ICX chart yesterday, and it's pretty disastrous. I mean, even on a day where some alts are showing green, really all ICX is doing is forming yet another bear flag. It is extremely unfortunate that we cannot trade this on margin, because, I mean, look at this decline. I mean, being able to short this would I mean, that's just printing money at that point, so it is unfortunate that we can't do that. But nonetheless, ICX is definitely one of the coins that I have my eye on. I have put out an entire post in VIP talking about the coins that I'm going to be looking to diversify into with relatively large volumes, just because these coins are so oversold, and I will give you one of them as a freebie, and that is ICX. We're seeing right in front of us. I am looking for a bit of capitulation. We have not seen capitulation yet, guys. What that means is when people really do just give up, throw their hands up, and sell everything, and go back to driving their fiat puntos and all that. That's what we're going to be looking for when we see ICX being sold in a massive red candle. I think we saw it with one chain a little bit. Let's go ahead and take a look at that. No, actually we didn't, but I suppose you can count this. I mean, this is a massive, we look at the volume here, I mean, that's a massive sell-off compared to the volume it did have previously. So capitulation, for those of you who don't know, would be something a little bit like this red candle, only it would drop much further, and potentially even with a little bit more volume than that as well. So that is what I'm going to be looking for with the final alt picks that I do have. Again, if you are interested, you can access that in VIP. So the link to gold is in the description. Go ahead and hit me up there, and I will get you in. Okay, so back to Bitcoin. Where do I think it's going to go? Well, guys, like I always say in these streams, in the recent days, we do have some very good support in this range. We did bounce off the bottom of our Ichimoku cloud. We didn't really bounce with a lot of conviction, whereas that candle here. So if we look at the volume, it is this one that I've got my vertical line on now. Okay, that's not even centered properly, but it is where I've got this vertical line. You can see that the volume here wasn't huge. It could have been way better. Really zoom in and make that quite clear. I mean, this is one of the weaker candles we've seen within our trend, and so bouncing off such an important support line, I would have really expected to see a lot more volume kick in. But I think, as we have seen demonstrated quite clearly recently, volume is not taking as much of a big hold on the market as it should be at the moment, and so really we don't have any reliable indicators in this market right now. Very concerning, guys. This is why, as you know, I have not been trading in this range whatsoever. It is just constant liquidations for people longing and shorting within this range. I know many people who did take up hopeful longs within this range to go back to $8,000, guys. As you know, my bullish bias still remains. I did mention, Bitcoin, one last chance to recover, and really this is it, because if we do fail 7,200, we are going to be looking at levels like 6,800. And as you guys know, that is the 618 Fibonacci retracement line. Let me go ahead and draw that again real quick. And of course, show you what I mean there. So if we bring this up to the top of our run up, and we can see the 0.618, the 61% retracement. We went up and then we retraced 60, well, we will probably retrace 61%, and that would put us right down onto the $6,800 line. And really, if this is breached, I just don't think there's going to be any notable strength from the bulls to take it higher from there. What we are seeing right now, guys, very clearly is yet another continuation consolidation pattern within a bearish channel. We have set this bearish channel from up here, and I think our move down yesterday did confirm that we're still in it. Just seeing how when we bounced off 7,200, we didn't bounce with much conviction. I don't have a lot of faith enough holding these levels, despite how very obviously strong these levels are. I think if we go back to these alpha indicator presets and go ahead and switch on the VPVR, this whole chart is no longer loading for whatever reason. I don't even know if this stream is live anymore. This is frustrating. Let me go ahead and reload this page and see what's up. Just make sure, guys, is the stream even still live? Can you guys still see what's up here? Let's go over to these alpha indicators now, and yes, everything is working perfectly fine. And guys, as you will know, I do talk about the VPVR indicator quite a lot, and if I do zoom out a little bit, what we will see is we're actually trading right within where this volume, okay, zoom in a little bit, we are trading right within where this volume really does peak. And so if we do drop here, I think there's, without any doubt, we are going to end up dropping to levels at least like 6,800. I don't think this this bar is very accurate. It should be showing the middle of the bar being at $6,800, but nonetheless, this is a very nice range to be trading. I think that if we do drop into these levels, there are going to be some very, very nice profits to make if you're trading on margin. If not, this is potentially a time to sell. None of this is financial advice, but as I did post in VIP, I have been looking to offload a little bit during this trend, just because volume is not very convincing at the moment. We can see it much more clearly when I do zoom in, guys. There is basically no trading volume below 7,200, and so that does to me mean that there's a decent chance that if we do break this level, and given that the volume is not showing us much support, there is a good chance we're going to end up seeing levels like 6,800. Now, there is a few very important and scary issues with this, guys. I mean, like I said, we are trading within this Ichimoku cloud, and as I said yesterday, this has given us a decisive rejection of the Ichimoku cloud now, a first, second, third time. We expected this from the beginning. Even when we were around about here, I did mention, this Ichi cloud is going to give us a lot of problems, and like I said, my stance on it did change when we were about midway through it, but right now, guys, it is not showing us the same strength that it had before. This green volume is not present anymore. Where is it? It is nowhere to be seen, and so it is a little bit concerning. Now, if we do go over to the 3-day chart, it is showing us a bit of a nicer image here, guys, as I did say. This 3-day chart is actually going to close, I believe, in 1 or 2 days. So yeah, we can see it starting on the 5th of August. So this green candle will close in 2 days, and rather this red candle. And of course, going up on an average of 15 days, and then having a 6-day retracement really isn't that bad. And of course, if it does take us down to levels like 618, that is perfectly fine to start off our next wave up. I think it would actually be beneficial to draw this out and make that explicitly clear for everyone. Guys, as you will know, once we do trade at levels like this, we do form support and resistance areas. So that is why I've been talking about this range as being very important for Bitcoin. But I want to go ahead and map this Elliott wave formation. And, if we're looking at the larger trend, actually it would do good if I was on the 1-day chart here. If we are looking at these sort of more long-term retracements, what we could be looking at is a trend potentially a bit like this. I mean, up to 9,200, like I said, the price is over here. Like I said, it's this is the only level I think that we'd be encountering resistance, probably retrace down to about 8,500 potentially, and then onwards. If this channel, okay, I don't know why that all snapped into a weird place, but if this channel does this is okay, yeah, if this channel does play out and it still looks like it's possible, guys, like I said, that final chance will be $7,200 and $6,800. If these levels do hold, it would really make sense to really disgruntle the community, to put it very lightly, to really make people lose a lot of faith. I mean, guys, let's bear in mind, if we do go down to $6,800, we're falling down to a very powerful level where there is a lot of trading volume, where there is the 61.8% retracement. As you will know, Bitcoin very, very welly I don't know how to say that properly. Bitcoin respects the 61.8 retracement very well, very regularly, and so it would make sense that if we do go this low, we can continue on higher. But if we do bear in mind how fragile this space is right now, there is a good chance that, you know, once we do go down to these levels, the logic that we're talking about in these streams will be lost by the masses. Of course, it will not happen within this community because we do not trade like the rest of the sheeps. That is not how we're, how we're wired and how we operate. Now, I do want to take a look at the RSI today. It is not something I use very often, but I think it's time to start considering it a little bit more. And as you guys will know, yesterday I did point out that we're neutral. We're now one below neutral. Really doesn't make a very big difference. This does show us that we can actually start to climb a little bit higher now. This is a good sign. I think the volume is relatively healthy. I mean, I would have liked to see a lot less red volume if we are going to be going down, and of course that means there's a lot of ambiguity within this trend, because if we look at the green volume, it does go up to around about the same levels as this red volume. I think the green, obviously does dominate with a couple candles, but on the whole, the red is not very far behind. And really, when we are looking for pauses in the trend to give us confirmation of the trend that we're already in, which in this case is still an uptrend. If we are looking at setting higher lows, we have set a low over here, and however low this goes, potentially 6,800, that would be a new low, and it would be a higher low. And so this is fine within an uptrend, but we want to be seeing our lows on lower volume. So of course, this low doesn't count because it did start off our trend, but when we did form this low over here, our volume compared to our full green candles was significantly lower, and really we do want to see volume around about the same levels in a trend like this, but unfortunately that is not the case. So we will have to continue to see how this plays out. Right now it is not giving us any clear signs for the market. Now, looking at this one-day EMA ribbon, this is giving us a very good sign of support. Now, as you guys will know, it's acted as very good rejections, and in turn it can also be a good sign of support. Like I said, volume is not confirming this story. The Ichimoku cloud has held, the EMA ribbon has held, but I'm starting to feel like it won't hold for much longer, and the reason for that is it's just not showing strength from the bulls that they're going to recover the price action right now. I am going to be looking for levels like 6,800 to make sure that will happen. Now, there is something that I've personally noticed, and it's not something very scientific. I wasn't even sure if I should share it in stream today, guys, but I think it is worth bringing up anyway. A lot of people I know do follow this kind of theory in charting, and it is looking at how many consecutive candles that we get which are of the same color, which are of the same movement. And so we have had 5 consecutive days of red movement now, obviously varying in the degrees of how low it takes us, but this is a very important thing to note. We typically do not follow, we don't stick to a trend for this long, going down, straight down with only red candles for 5 days in a row. I think a reaction rally is definitely in the works here within these daily candles, and if we do start that reaction rally from 7,200 from where we bottomed out, that would not surprise me. I think all it's going to take is a little bit of a positive catalyst to take us higher, potentially top out at something like 7,700. On the daily chart, maybe 2-3 days of green movement, and then go lower. I think that is definitely in the works. I would just be a little bit surprised if we do continue to follow this trend, and we have no pauses, no breaks in that trend, and we do go all the way down to $6,800. That is a long way down with no pauses in the trend, and we just really don't see things like that very often. So I am looking for a bit of a reaction rally, and guys, really, all of this, what I'm telling you right now is we could go up and we could go down, and really there is no way to tell for sure. We have a lot of very bullish factors, a lot of very bearish factors, and this, as a result, this is just not a place to be trading on margin. I still get a lot of questions about when I'm going to be looking to enter positions and things like that, but really, after watching these videos I'm trying to really let you guys know what's going on in my own mind. I have become a very, very disciplined trader. As you guys know, I had a very bad couple months in 2018 leading up to my complete low in May, where I treated BitMEX like gambling, and having so many failures, as it was able to bring me to where I am now. I was thinking about how someone can get to where I am now with the least pain, and I just think that pain is an essential part of that process, and believe me, there was a lot of pain involved. And it is because of that I have become a very disciplined trader, and one of my key rules has always been to never ever enter a margin trade if I'm not feeling completely sure about it. And right now I may as well just be neutral, because we have too many bullish factors, too many bearish factors, and that violates my rule number one, guys. Like I say, I have liquidated since May. I haven't lost more than $50 on margin since May, and so these rules have helped me to keep profits in high, and really just make sure the losses are next to zero. Like I say, none of this is financial advice, but people asking me how they can learn to trade like I do, the first step really is knowing when not to trade, and it's painful. I mean, let's get this ruler out again. I mean, how long has it been, to not trade? I mean, it's been 9 days going on 2 weeks. Of course, that's quite, we have itchy fingers and we want to get some trades in, but you've got to think like you already have the money that you want, and you would not take crazy risks like that within this range. I am ready to go through your questions now. I have gone through a lot of my analysis. How Ethereum Classic perform in coming days? Four flies. Well, BB, it's doing pretty good right now, and I think it could potentially continue to rally a little bit just because it's got this Coinbase listing around the corner potentially. I would not touch it within this range though. I mean, I've made my risk management things very clear. Just like folding in poker. Aaron, yeah, absolutely. I mean, I talked to Kirby about this. If you guys don't know, Crypto Kirby is obviously a Bitcoin trader, but he was in poker before, and he always mentions how the best poker players treat it mathematically and not like gambling. I mean, poker is it doesn't fall into the category of gambling if you take a calculated approach to it. Don Sir, dude, everything you've been saying has happened. Why not just stick with 7,200 to 6,800, then to 9,200? Don, I mean, like I said, going down to 6,800, even potentially bottoming out right here, and then going to 9,200, I still think that is a very likely play. It is not good that we failed our support at 7,700, but like I say, if we do look at the third chart, it does look like that was some necessary price movement for the overall health of our trend. Why not just stick with it? I mean, Don, you see, the deal here is you've got to be able to very regularly change your mind and adapt your mindset to the markets, because, I mean, if you don't, the markets will just leave you behind to rot and suffer. It's quite savage. I mean, this world of trading is not... I mean, it's not hugs and rainbows and all that, and you have to be able to change very, very quickly, especially with such a volatile market like this one. Reality Backstage, 4fly, say we break 7,200 and then drop to 6,800. To where do you see it bounce back? Well, from 6,800, there are a couple of things that could happen. We could form a bit of a weak reaction rally, potentially go up to about 6,850, potentially 7,000, even 7,200 to meet our previous low as a high this time, old support becoming resistance. Or I think there is also a good chance that manipulators do decide, okay, well, it's time to take this higher, and the bottom is in, the triple bottom, the futures reversal, everything I've talked about at length very, very many times. It is possible that at that point we do see a definite low, and Bitcoin will never see lows like that again, and it will see 9,200, and then onwards from there we will continue to readjust. Analysis, really, I mean, anything can happen from that range. That's just that's the level to look at. I mean, if we do go down to that level, that's going to be very telling. If we do close below 6,800, I do feel like a lot of, I mean, like I said in the title, is this Bitcoin's last chance? I think that will be Bitcoin's last chance. Go ahead and check out what else we've got going on here. Code My Soul, 4flies, what reasons do you think affect the price of Bitcoin the most? Right now, it is, I think, definitely a lot of fear. It is a lot of fear in this market. I was talking to our VIPs and how fear is probably the most powerful emotion that humans have. I just feel like, I mean, what reasons have there been to drop us this low? Fundamentally, what has meant Bitcoin has become weaker these few days to drop it this low? I mean, you can say, oh, well, there's been this FUD article, this Korean exchange has been hacked, and that, coin has you know, exit scammed, whatever. I mean, we're just grabbing, we're grabbing in the dark for things to give reasons for what's going on, guys. Really, there is no logical reason for this, and of course that is why I'm still optimistic. I mean, I'm cautious for saying it on record like this because I know a couple people might call me out, but you know, for the majority of you, the silent majority, shall I say, I do keep it real with you. And really, I mean, it's not like Bitcoin got worse when it was going down. It's not like, you know, go to 20,000. It's not like Bitcoin got any worse going from 20,000 down to 8. I think a lot of it is just market psychology and fear. Do you think the price could be completely manipulated, and if so, by who? Code my soul. I am not of the opinion that everything is 100% manipulated. I do understand that there's a little bit of manipulation going on, but I think if we get into the mindset that we say all price action is 100% manipulated, what that's actually saying is I'm a victim, and I'm not going to do anything to change that, and you know, feel sorry for me. I think that's the hidden message. You won't be able to admit it if that's you, but you know, I've been there, and so I know how people like that think. I think to blame it all on manipulators is a very classic victim mindset. This is not something that I think would regularly cross the minds of very successful traders. I could be completely wrong. I don't really know much in the large scope of things, but like I said, I have been there before, thinking that you know, everything is 100% in the hands of the manipulators, people in $1,000 suits that we've never seen, and they never show their face. But it's just not something, you know, if you think like that, then why trade at all, really? I mean, you can still make a lot of money within these trends, and so, you know, even if it is manipulated, and of course it is, we can still make profits from that. So I just don't feel like it's the right question to ask. But yeah, if so, by who? I have no idea. I mean, you could throw around names like Wall Street investors and you know, I don't know, people submitting for ETFs, the US government. You can go crazy with these conspiracy theories. I don't think it's such a big deal. Buy ICX if you have itchy fingers. It's on a huge sale. IOTA is also something I am interested in. Should I go 100x long right now? That is up to you. What's your prediction for Bitcoin for this year? I don't really have a long-term prediction for Bitcoin this year. I mean, I don't even know what it's going to do tomorrow. So, it's not my forte to be looking at what's going to happen 4 months down the line. That's just not my trading style, unfortunately. Well, actually, fortunately, I do quite like this more short-term, mid-term swing kind of trading style that I do have. Bitcoin is dropping in the recent days while many alts are in green. Alexander, I don't know what else you're looking at, mate. If we look at the 7-day chart, I mean, literally, like, every alt has had a very bloody week. So I have no idea what green alts you're talking about. If you can clarify with that, we can talk about 68.1% manipulated. Golden ratio of manipulation, that's hilarious. Definitely manipulated both ways. Eventually we're going to the moon. Potentially, Dennis, potentially. Hey there, please pay attention to the pairing. Ethereum Classic USDT just made a jump from $14 to $17. Just wondering if maybe they're entering money into alt then Bitcoin. Just a heads up. Well, I don't think that's possible unless they are buying over the counter, but buying alts like Ethereum Classic over the counter is not easy because of liquidity. I don't think that's going to happen. Ethereum Classic does have a lot going for it on its own, which is independent from the rest of the market, and I think that is why it really does stand out quite a lot today. But I don't think there's anything huge going on with that. That could, I mean, there's definitely some things to note, but on the whole, nothing I'm giving a lot of attention. You think we're going down before we go up? Crypto Skies, please rewind. What are your thoughts on the Backed and ICE news? Haven't heard of it. Why do people get so excited about Coinbase listing new coins? Their fees are ridiculous. Tommy Gunn, more than that, they've demonstrated extreme unreliability. So, yeah, I don't know why people do get excited over them. Personally, I don't think it's a huge deal anymore. I think they've definitely lost a lot of my respect with the bcash pumping and all that. But I guess those are discussions for another video. Guys, it looks like we're not getting much relevant questions anymore, and of course, I have covered all of the analysis I wanted to, so with that, I am going to be heading off, guys. Just one last thing, if you are interested in VIP, then definitely go ahead and join the Telegram channel with the link below. Make sure you smash up those likes as well. Subscribe, tick the bell so you don't miss out on my content. And of course, with that, guys, as usual, it has been an absolute pleasure. I love getting on these streams, guys. Like I said, I have got a completely new setup. Everything I'm using right now is new equipment, and it's going to enable me to do these streams literally every day. So I am very excited for that. It is going to become a little bit difficult when I'm traveling, but it's something I enjoy, and as a result, I am going to find ways to do it anyway, guys. With that, yeah, I am going to be heading off. Peace.